So you've got quite a few strings to your bow, and I've had you on the podcast before, and I didn't realize that you're part of companies before. So you're doing exactly what you've done before, and you can see the strength of that. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to get you onto today, and we'll get into it shortly because there's so many things you're looking after on a daily basis. So it'd be great to get into how you do it all and how you fit it in. But before we get into that, let's talk about mortgage advisors because they're the majority of the people that listen. What are you finding are their biggest struggles at the minute? What are they coming to you with?
So I'll start with Mortgage Broker Club. So my legal club has probably the most relevant to this podcast today is that we have a conveyancing arm. It's quite unique, and we'll discuss that later. And that works with predominantly mortgage brokers, but estate agents as well. We also have a trading style, if you want, called Mortgage Broker Club, and that isn't a mortgage club, it's a mortgage broker community, really, TMBC. And if you go online, you can look at that website, and it has things like ebooks on Google My Business. It has ebooks on how to convert referrals, how to do online lead gen, with literally walkthrough guides with really top people who are either mortgage brokers who have done pay-per-click or mortgage brokers that have actually done pay-per-click themselves in-house, and in terms of the challenges that they faced. And people have outsourced that as well. We've also spoken to some pay-per-click lead gen providers who have said, well, these are the best things that the mortgage brokers do when it works, and these are some of the things that won't work.
So proof essentially that this,
if
you do it this way, it's going to work.
Script, you name it. So there's a lot of free resources on there. You don't have to put your email address in or anything like that. You can just go and use those resources. Not as good as yours, but we also have podcasts and YouTube videos and things like that out. So we're very privileged to have people like you on, Nicola Firth. I'm going to miss people out, which is unfair. We've had like Ash Borland, David Miles, Rosalina. So we've done lots of stuff in those kind of spaces, but we've also had mortgage brokers come on the show about how they're converting cases that others are leaving behind. We've just done a recent interview with Mortgage Mike from Twitter that a few people might know, Mike Lawler. So there's things like that we've done that I think we try and delve deep with them into the nitty gritty. So in terms of Mortgage Broker Club, the most common things we're finding at the moment is obviously the typical thing between DA and AR. So quite a lot of people come to us looking to review either alternative compliance services and the like. We get probably some of the newer or less experienced brokers coming to us for lead gen and referrals and wanting to know I want to do something on social, but I also want something more salesy. So obviously, genuinely, we send them to you. And then have a chat with them about the sales sort of side of things. We don't get any affiliate revenue for anyone listening to this. We just do that.
Yeah, that's the legal bit. Sean's always about the legal bit.
The disclaimer, we don't seek any affiliate revenue. So I think the main thing we kind of get there is within them arenas. Quite often lead gen and referrals are why people are coming on, and it tends to be sort of the newer brokers or less experienced brokers perhaps that are either doing okay and want to grow further, or it's just run a bit dry for a little bit and they want to replenish the stock, for want of a better phrase. I think with the brokers we work with on the conveyancing side of the business in actually my legal club itself, it's the usual things. Lenders, particularly at the moment, moving rates, massive problem. Down valuing, big problem. You know, where clients' expectations and or estate agents' expectations, the property price is just not aligned with what the valuers are now going back to the lenders on. That can be an issue. So I think for them, it's being stuck on with the lenders when they're moving the goalpost last minute and so forth. I think that's a big challenge. Another challenge that goes a bit under the radar for some since April is the mess that the government have caused in high-rise leasehold. This is a problem that is going to hit now and in the next 2 weeks. So we're recording on the 26th of September. For those who don't know, and this is quite frankly ridiculous, a high-rise property is defined roughly as 5 stories or more, but you could be buying a ground floor flat and you are counted as having a high-rise property.
Hello.
So the issue is that the government have made it so logistically difficult under the new legislation that initially a lot of law firms just said we don't want it because it's uncertain, a hell of a lot of work to do. The initial issue, though, was it took forever and was causing immense delays. There is a bigger problem that's coming, though, in that, for those who don't know, law firms will normally do professional indemnity insurance renewals for either October or April. And most law firms will do 12-month PAI renewals. So we are now right at the point where every law firm is either renewing with their existing insurer or moving to another one. Here's the problem. About 2 weeks ago, a very big insurer said, we are not insuring high-rise leasehold conveyancing cases with immediate effect. So you could have 100 of them in your law firm. They need to go that day because you're no longer insured on them. There is a question at the moment as to how many insurers are going to take the same view. So I think brokers are going to have to seriously consider in their fact find that they might be doing a flat or a mason out anything, a leasehold property, be it residential or commercial, and they need to be asking the question, how many stories are in the building? Not are you on the 5th, 6th, 7th floor? How many stories are in the building? And if it's 5 or more, I'd probably be saying to the client, if you've got any way of buying something else, probably do. But no, being in real life, you would need to double check, depending on which lender you're using, that the law firm you want to use is insured to take them. And you would also need to make sure that you tick the little high-rise leasehold button on the quote, because firms are charging an additional $350 to $850. Now, that gives you an indication of the amount of work and delay, because there are some firms that would do an entire residential purchase within those bands of legal cost. So to be adding that amount on as an add-on shows you how much is involved. And it's obviously difficult for if you've got cases with a firm right now, I would reach out to them and ask them to check if they're still insured and to keep you abreast of the position if they renew PAI.
Wow, very interesting. That's something that's come out of the podcast that I don't think anybody was expecting. So thank you for that.